You need to keep your single friends at bay.
She's good people.
Hey, honey. Welcome home.
There's no dinner.
I've decided to cook for one.
Love is for those who fight for it.
But even when I got married, we would still be together? Asali, move on.
Have you lost your mind?
I love you.
Oh, please.
Get out! Get out!
I hate you.
She's gonna leave you.
She deserves better.
So do I.
Hello, thank you for calling.
FM Ilaiska Umada.
With over 2.4 million operators and a network that covers the entire nation, the Boda Boda subsector has revolutionized transport experience in Kenya. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The Boda Boda Story, a 4-part special series beginning this Thursday on KBC Channel 1 News. Don't miss the Boda Boda Story, a real story of our times.
Attention, family. Once beaten, twice shy.
I am here to make money, so you better get your act together.
I want nothing to do with the company. Not now, never.
I need to think about it.
Don't take long.
You're forgetting I'm Anjuguna.
Have you been living in a hole or something? No. What choice does he have?
Experience a new history and setting of new records in Stark Arena from the 18th to 20th of March 2022 at the World Athletics Indo Championships.
Pretty tight out of the blocks, and Coleman now moving away. Christian Coleman challenged late there by Bromell.
More than 1,000 of the world's best athletes will compete for 96 medals across 24 finals during the 3 days of competition in Belgrade, Serbia. Kenya has a formidable team of 10 athletes, amongst them Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala. It is going to be a blast, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
A very good afternoon to you. It is the 17th day of March 2022. A warm welcome to KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News. I am Nissy Imano. Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter for this bulletin. Right, and Jackson Kiprotich Kibor, a popular businessman and politician from Eldoret to Singishu County, is dead. Kibor is said to be in his late 80s, died at St. Luke's Hospital in Eldoret after a long illness. Kenyans from all walks of life have eulogized the late Kibor as an industrious man whose legacies should be greatly acknowledged.
Deputy President Dr. William Ruto is among Kenyans who took to Twitter to eulogize Mzee Jackson Kibor. The Deputy President said Mzee Kibor will be remembered for being firm, industrious and vocal on issues he believed in. Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago paid tribute to the late Kibor, saying he was a hard-working and self-disciplined man. Kapseret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi eulogized the octogenarian, saying he was a hard-working, visionary and vocal politician who would speak up his mind without fear or favor. The wealthy businessman has been using medical oxygen since October 2020 after he contracted COVID-19. He was recently admitted at St. Luke's Hospital, where doctors confirmed both his kidneys had failed. Nicknamed the chairman of the men's conference, Mzee Kibor shot to prominence in 2017, where he went to court seeking to divorce his third wife months after divorcing the second one. Shortly after, he married a fourth wife. He is survived by more than 20 children. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
Away from that, Jubilee Party has kicked out Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi as Majority Chief Whip in the Senate. In a statement, the party's Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni, said Wamatangi immediately ceases to hold the office of the Majority Chief Whip in the Senate, as well as any leadership positions in any committee of the Senate after he switched his loyalty to UDA party. Kioni said the decision was arrived by the party's National Management Committee after Wamatangi publicly announced that he had decamped to Deputy President William Ruto's UDA party. Kioni asked Wamatangi to make written representations to the Jubilee Party through the Secretary General by close of business today in the event that he does not agree with the decision, saying further considerations will be made thereafter. Wamatangi replaced Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata as the Senate Majority Whip. And elsewhere, Kiambu County Speaker Stephen Dishu has shifted his seat aspirations to senatorial seat following negotiations with his 5 other gubernatorial contenders from United Democratic Alliance. While announcing his change of mind, Dishu urged other aspirants to negotiate for the popular candidate in order to capture more seats for UDA. Political parties are still signing memorandums of understanding with Azimio and Kenya Kwanza coalitions to make the campaign period is for the strong candidate.
UDA ticket, but I will run for the senator of Kiambu County on UDA ticket. So I have shown the way, and the ones that have left, they can also sit down and employ what we call negotiated democracy and leave it among themselves who can win this election against our common denominator or our common competitor.
Moving on, a section of Agikuyu elders and opinion leaders from North Rift, allied to Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga, now want him to pick up a running mate from the region in order to be assured of victory in the August polls. Speaking in Kitale after a consultative forum, the elders, led by Simon Mwanake, expressed support for President Uhuru Kenyatta's choice of successor.
Nataka kumtetea presidenti wetu Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Hatutaki hawa watu wawili wapewe pressure na mtu yeyote. Hivi leo nataka kusema ya kwamba uwezi kuja siku mbili uingie kwa Azimio na uanze kusema utatafuta. Tayari kura tumetafuta. Ndugu zetu wamepigana, wametafuta.
And in Laikipia County, residents of Nanyuki town staged a peaceful protest over what they termed as poor health services at the Nanyuki Referral Hospital. Carrying placards, the residents marched to the county secretary's office to file a petition demanding the reinstatement of all doctors who were fired 3 years ago and to ensure the hospital had medicine to improve service delivery. The hospital, through its chief health officer Donald Mogoi, denied the claim, saying the facility was providing quality services and that they have hired specialists to replace those that they sacked in 2019.
Hawamo. Dawa pia ziko, zile ziko ni Piriton na Panadol, zile za kawaida. Tunapata kuwa patients wanakuja kutolewa kwa hospitali wakati ambapo wanaambiwa kuwa hawezi hudumiwa kwa wakati ambao huko kwa sababu dawa hamuna na madaktari pia hakuna. So ningeomba tu kuwa tuingilie serikali iweze kutusaidia, kama hii petition tuende tuifanye kwa national government, iweze kuingililia hospitali yetu ya Laikipia na gavana wetu aweze kutuangalilia ile mambo.
Laikipia Health Service zote zinafanya kazi kwa ile njia ambayo inatakikana. Hasa hospitali yetu ya LHS Nanyuki iko inapeana huduma kwa kila siku, hasa huduma za specialists pia zinapeanwa katika hospitali yetu, kuanzia huduma za mama, huduma za watoto, huduma za upasuaji, huduma za matibabu ya kiakili, huduma za matibabu ya kila siku kupitia kwa madaktari wetu, ziko zinaendelea.
And Narok County Coordinating Committee is calling on politicians to maintain peace ahead of the general election. Committee Chairman Samuel Ole Naikumi says leaders need to exercise political tolerance even as they seek elective posts. He made the remarks during a meeting at the SCK St. Luke's Church in Narok. Ole Naikumi noted Kenyans are experiencing hard economic times and need leaders who will work to lessen their burden. The committee also called on security agencies to be very vigilant, especially in Oloshapani in Narok South, Olposimoru, and Tiani Logman Forest in Narok North, and Transmara, Mapashi, Kisii border.
Drivers of sustainable economy, development and inclusive governance. To ensure we continue to enjoy the continued peace and security in Narok, we call upon the politicians to allow the residents of Narok to exercise their democratic and supreme right to elect their leaders without political patronage and clanism.
Moving on, a section of Garissa County leaders is accusing a local politician of trying to portray parts of the county as unsafe. Led by Senator Abdul Haji and Ijara Member of Parliament Sophia Abdi, the leaders claim the politician is behind the smear campaign that saw top dignitaries keep away from commissioning of Budai sub-county.
In Garissa County, security concerns dominated the commissioning of Budai sub-county. Speaking while handing over the coat of arm emblem to Budai Deputy County Commissioner Anderson Ayuko, Senator Abdul Haji accused a local politician of peddling untruths to settle political scores.
Tunasikitika wakati wale ambao wamepewa nafasi ya serikali kuu wakitumia sababu ya kuhairisha shughuli muhimu kama leo ya kufanya Budai sub-county, wanatumia sababu ya insecurity.
Ijara legislator Sophia Abdi wondered how the area could be termed as insecure when people were traveling every day on foot and using vehicles with no incidents reported.
Mimi ambaye niko hapa ni mama, na kila siku nikikuja sikuji na security hiyo. Ninataka wapatia watu wangu wa Ijara hiyo moyo na hiyo confidence kwamba hakuna taabu yoyote katika constituency hii.
Ijara Sub-County Deputy Commissioner Willie Cheboi urged the leaders to foster peace among the electorates as the country heads to the polls on August 9. For Lunchtime News, I'm Brian Muindi.
And in our weekly segment of cinemas and theatres, for the last 3 years, most sectors of the economy have been grappling with the adverse effects occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. The creative industry, particularly theatre, was no exception. However, the curtains are gradually coming down on that dark COVID chapter. In this week's edition of Cinemas and Theatre, Jacqueline Masharia reviews the play Bro Code.
The play Bro Code is a story about two brothers trapped in a warehouse after a bank robbery goes wrong. From the robbery, a security guard is left with a gunshot wound, prompting the two brothers to hide in the warehouse.
And then you proceed to shoot an innocent man in the stomach, Saddam. That no longer qualifies as an error.
Years of estrangement set the perfect stage for the two brothers to catch up and hash out unsettled scores.
Give me that phone. Stop, give me that phone. Saddam, I'm coming back up.
Directed by Lawrence Morage, Bro Code is played by renowned actors Xavier Uwaya, who plays the character Saddam, and Nyakundi Isaboke, who plays the character Michael.
For Uwaya, we settled on him because there's a time I did a short film and he was playing that kind of a character. And now we wanted someone who would match up with him. And one of the people that was suggested was Isaboke. First, they are friends. Second, they've worked together for a while. And third, Isaboke wanted a new experience on stage. He's never done stage plays. He's never done this kind of shows. He's never stepped on this stage. So it was a challenge to him and to us to make him do that role and do it to perfection.
The theatre staged play Bro Code seeks to show that blood is thicker than water.
Bro Code is a show about brothers. It's a show about brotherhood, but by extension we got to cover about siblings and childhood, how you'd grow with your siblings. I have grown in a familiar environment, though I had a mother. I still have a mother, but I've only grown up with my brother as the only sibling that I know. So it's a story and a play that resonates a lot with my life, and that's why I accepted to direct the play.
Saddam, you get the picture I'm trying to paint. Bro, you just bribe them, probably.
Having directed different films and TV shows, Morage noted that theatre staged plays are fulfilling compared to films as they offer instant feedbacks from the audiences.
Theatre is really fulfilling. I mean, everything is instant. It's not like a film where you'd have to go and do what and edit. These shows, they've been the same, but they've been different because where it's a bokeh where Michael or Saddam stood yesterday is not where they'll stand today, because it's a feeling and it's a real-time feeling, and that's the difference. That's the difference between theatre and TV. Well, the theatre space had picked up pre-COVID. That is 2018, 2019, theatre was doing really well. This is one of the plays that have gotten back to, that have brought back people to the theatre and brought back actors to the theatre. Now that the directives have been at least vacated, no masks and all this, so we just hope things will be better now.
You're my brother for sure.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
You're my brother for sure.
And on that note, we do take a really short commercial break on Lunchtime News, but do stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit.
With over 2.4 million operators and a network that covers the entire nation, the Boda Boda subsector has revolutionized transport experience in Kenya. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The Boda Boda Story, a 4-part special series beginning this Thursday on KBC Channel 1 News. Don't miss the Boda Boda Story, a real story of our times.
Experience a new history and setting of new records in Stark Arena from the 18th to 20th of March 2022 at the World Athletics Indoor Championships.
Pretty tight out of the blocks, and Coleman now moving away. Christian Coleman challenged late there by Brumel.
More than 1,000 of the world's best athletes will compete for 96 medals across 24 finals during the 3 days of competition in Belgrade, Serbia. Kenya has a formidable team of 10 athletes, amongst them Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala. It is going to be a blast, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Maybe we should have a dinner party and invite some of your single friends.
You need to keep your single friends at bay.
She's good people.
Hey, honey. Welcome home.
There's no dinner.
I've decided to cook for one.
Love is for those who fight for it.
But even when I got married, we'd still be together? Asali, move on.
Have you lost your mind?
I love you.
Oh, please.
Get out! Get out!
I hate you.
She's gonna leave you.
She deserves better.
So do I.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. And Keroche Industries breweries have resumed operation in its Naivasha factory after the Kenya Revenue Authority removed the seals placed in their production line. Keroche CEO Tabitha Karanja says within the period the brewery was closed, they had made losses of up to 700 million shillings, but nevertheless the company is resuming with full vigor.
The machines roar back to life. The bottles filling up again. The tussle between Keroche Breweries and the Exchequer finally fizzled out when the two parties agreed on a 24-month timeline for a full clearance of all tax arrears. In the agreement, the brewery is to pay 21 million shillings upfront in goodwill, thereafter portioning the pending 957 million shillings to be paid within a span of 2 years. This came as the company workers embarked on the process of repackaging and selling liquor worth over 500 million shillings that is currently in their tanks.
We'll be able now even to continue solving things in a more, whatever is administrative, we do it in an administrative way. Whatever is about ADR, we do it in an ADR way, so that the KRA now can be seen also supporting the local entrepreneurs.
While lauding the move to reopen the brewery, Karanja says KRA had relaxed its demands and the company is willing to abide by them, paving way for full production and the retention of 250 employees that were on the brink of unemployment.
We recalled all the agency notices that they put in the banks, and we're also happy because now we start working with our banks as it was before.
KRA had accused the brewer of collecting excise tax worth over 279 million shillings from its beer sales and failing to remit it. The taxman now says Keroche must sort its affairs to facilitate the remittance of the overdue tax alongside the monthly taxes that will arise. KRA has also lifted the agency notice on 36 banks that had barred the brewery from seeking loans. Keroche CEO Tabitha says the government should in future implement policies that cushion local manufacturers from such incidences.
We are seeking the parliament to ensure that they look at the Finance Act and ensure that they give more powers to the Treasury so that the Treasury now can be dealing with the case by case to ensure that the local entrepreneurs thrive and survive even in hard times.
Hibak Saeed for Lunchtime News.
And in Africa business, Nigeria's inflation rose by 0.1 percentage points to 15.7% in February after fuel shortages increased transport and other costs, while the war in Ukraine is expected to drive up the price of imports such as wheat. Lagos-based Nali Juice Company, which also owns restaurants, is among those affected by the cost of diesel, which it said climbed to 680 naira a litre from 215 naira in a matter of weeks.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine last month has added to volatility in financial markets, sending commodity prices higher and affecting logistics, potentially derailing the economic recovery from COVID-19 in Nigeria and elsewhere. A halt in grain exports from major producer Ukraine could have a severe impact on Nigeria. Wheat was Nigeria's second biggest import during the fourth quarter after petrol, the Statistics Office said on Tuesday. A surge in international crude prices is theoretically positive for Nigeria as an oil exporter, but it still faces extra cost as it depends almost entirely on imported gasoline, which it subsidizes. Nigeria's inflation has been in double digits since 2016, impacted by food-related pressures and currency weakness. Elsewhere, African lender Standard Bank has ruled out funding all new coal-fired power plants and most oil-fired plants as part of the plans to reach net zero emissions by 2050, but campaigners said it could still do more to cut emissions. More financial services firms are setting net zero targets to combat global warming, but are under pressure to provide more details on how to get there, including making short-term cuts. Finally, agriculture has long served as the backbone of Rwandan economy and today employs 70% of Rwandans and accounts for 31% of GDP and 90% of domestic consumption. With regional food insecurity mounting and the promise to greatly increase intra-African trade, Rwanda is targeting a role as food exporter. After Rwanda's rural economy was reduced to ashes by the ethnic violence of 1994, farming was targeted as a priority area to drive economic recovery. Studies were conducted on the country's varied geography to reveal a range of different soil types and microclimates.
In the international scene, the U.S. Federal Reserve has raised interest rates for the first time since 2018 in an attempt to bring fast-rising prices under control. U.S. Central Bank said it was lifting its benchmark rate by 0.25 percentage points and signaled plans for further rate rises in the months ahead. Here are the details of this and much more across the globe.
The move comes as the U.S. economy faces new uncertainty, especially inflation caused by the Ukraine war and coronavirus outbreaks in China. By raising rates, the Fed will make it more expensive for households, businesses, and governments to borrow. It is hoping it can cool down demands for goods and services, helping to ease price inflation in the U.S., which hit a new 40-year high of 7.9% last month. The rate increase announced on Wednesday is expected to push the target range for the bank's key rates from 0.25% to 0.5%, though bank officials expect the U.S. economy to grow by 2.8% this year and inflation to subside to around 4.3% by the end of the year. Meanwhile, China has ramped efforts in tax and administrative fee reductions for market players this year in a bid to further relieve their financial burden and boost their performance amid the lingering COVID-19 pandemic. The tax refunds and cuts are expected to total to 2.5 trillion yuan this year, with the VAT credit refunds reaching 1.5 trillion yuan, which will also go straight to enterprises. The country has also extended the time limit for tax deferral by a further 6 months on the taxes and administrative fees payable by micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the manufacturing sector. Enterprises with a monthly turnover of no more than 150,000 yuan will be exempted from VAT payments until the end of this year. Finally, feelings have been mixed among Russian residents regarding the latest sanctions imposed by the European Union due to the Ukrainian crisis. EU member states have agreed on another package of sanctions against Russia, being the fourth one yet to be issued since the military operation started. Supermarkets in Moscow are running short of some commodities as prices of various products increase at a higher rate. The sanctions have also led to the shutdown of some shops as several brands abandon the Russian market.
All right, we now want to take you to Westlands in Nairobi, where our team is there covering the political parties' aspirant sensitization meeting that began earlier this morning. And Gladys Mungai is our reporter on standby to give us an update on that particular story.
Then Raila wins, and it will be very difficult for me to see him. There will be all sorts of things, and maybe he knows Matiba, he knows me. I was with him 2007 to presidential vote tally KIC. But I cannot
What is your question? I think you have asked your question.
The question is, what mechanism, legal mechanism, that when a party is presenting a list for those people they will nominate, there is nominated senator, there is nominated MP, there is nominated MCA. What legal mechanism do you have, or what document can somebody like me forward to you or to the electoral body so that we start the legal process? Because when the time comes, they say,
Thank you. You have made your point. That we are going to answer that question. So for
hiyo ni familia ya Dedan Kimathi, ya kina Matiba watakuja kuharibu. So a tractor, an excavator, you can only make the path, but you cannot walk on that road. You get it?
I get you.
So we don't have...
There, we have had your question. We are going to address.
We get it very clear. We get it.
Bring to him. Bring to him. Now he has been raising his hand the longest.
Okay. But they want to voice for Flora.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I have 3 questions. I've just thought about that now. Sorry. Why is it that I remember initially we've sorted out the issue because we were trying to go round and round and round, but I'm happy this is sorted. So my question is, it goes to you, Registrar. Having the party nominations and the party list. So I want you to make it clear so that we can understand. What are the mechanisms that the political parties are going to that political party have to protect women.
All right, and that is the political parties aspirant sensitization program that is currently ongoing in Westlands, a story that we are definitely going to be following up for you, and we'll give you a comprehensive report in our subsequent bulletins. For now, we also want to go to Uhuru Market. We will listen in to the Deputy President William Ruto, who is currently speaking at the Kenya Kwanza rally. Let's take a listen.
Tunabadilisha mwaka huu. Tunaanza na mwananchi mdogo hapa chini. Tunaanza na mama mboga hapa chini. Tunaanza na mtu wa boda hapa chini. Tunaanza na mtu wa kioska hapa chini. Na tunaweka pesa ya serikali bilioni 50 kuinua biashara ya hawa watu wa chini. Ndio tuanze safari ya kutoka chini kwenda juu, yaani bottom up. Bottom ama nyinyi watu wa Makadara mnataka tuendelee kungojea ile inatoka juu na hatujui itafika lini? Tumekubaliana? Jambo la pili, tunasema wera ni wera, kazi ni kazi. Mwaka huu tutaweka heshima ya kazi ya kila mtu. Hatutakubali. Tunaweka pesa ya kutosha. Tujenge soko 20 hapa Nairobi. Mahasla wapate mahali ya kuuza na kufanya biashara zao. Hapa Nairobi lazima tuweke sheria ya kulinda haki ya kila mtu. Haiwezekani ati mwananchi mdogo anaangaishwa na kanjo kwa sababu ya biashara yake. Lazima tuweke heshima kwa biashara ya kila mtu. Watu wa Makadara tunaelewana jameni? Tunaelewana? Mnakubali tutengeneze serikali ya mahasla mwaka huu ambayo inaelewa mtu ana kazi anakaa namna gani, ambayo inaelewa biashara ya mama mboga ni biashara. Tunaelewana jameni? Simuliona nilienda Marekani wiki 2 zilizopita. Wakati nimerudi wameanza kuangaisha boda. Mimi nimewaambia wachana na boda. Hawa ni wafanyabiashara kama wale wanafanya biashara kwa mabenki. Tuko pamoja? Na wauliza kwa unyenyekevu watu wa hapa Makadara. Jameni watu wa Makadara, mumekubali tuunde serikali ambayo inaelewa lugha ya mwananchi? Mnakubali? Hebu nione wala wanakubali. Sasa mimi niwaulize, si mnajua mimi niliunga mkono bwana Kitendawili? Si mnajua mimi niliunga mkono Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta? Lakini leo wanasema hawataki kuniunga mkono ati kwa sababu naongea lugha ya mahasla na wao wanataka kuongea lugha ya mabwenyenye. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, tutakubali kupangwa na mabwenyenye na hao watu wa mahasla huko Nairobi? Watu wameketi kwa mahoteli na maofisi watatupanga. Ate mnawaambia.
All right, and that is Deputy President William Ruto speaking at the Uhuru Market on his campaign tour, promising to build more markets in Nairobi. That's also a report that we will bring to you comprehensively in our subsequent bulletins. In the same breath, Deputy President William Ruto says he will create a 50 billion shillings fund to capitalize the small and medium enterprise sector if he ascends to the presidency after the August polls. Speaking during a meeting with Kenya Private Sector Alliance, Ruto said a bulk of the funds will go towards advancing affordable credit to the SMEs whom he says are grappling with liquidity challenges.
Deputy President William Ruto says his government will seek to expand the SME sector by liquidating startups, especially those in the agriculture space. The DP says high interest charged by most financial institutions have financially crippled startups, reducing their margins, thus inhibiting their growth. To liquidate the SME sector, the DP says will create a 50 billion shilling fund that will advance credit to SMEs at lower interest rates.
I'm also clear that what needs to be done in Kenya, you don't need to invest in any research. Many of the things that need to be done are already known, and all that is required now is the necessary leadership to deliver on the things that we already know should be done.
Ruto reckons agriculture is underfunded and his government will ensure farmers are also adequately financed and facilitated to increase production. He also says farmers will be linked to additional international markets to increase their earnings and reduce the country's food import bill that stands at 170 billion shillings.
We believe that the first step towards everything you have said here is how to capitalize the private sector. That's the whole essence. If you ask me what bottom-up is, it's about how to capitalize the private sector.
Among other key reforms, the DP targets to stimulate economic growth is increasing an SSF contribution that he says will boost the country's social security and create a resource pool that the government can tap into as an alternative to expensive foreign commercial loans. In his first 100 days, Ruto says he will digitize the Kenya Revenue Authority revenue collection that claims will net the taxman an additional 250 billion shillings annually. Benson Roba reporting for Lunchtime.
One more story before we go into sports. The Democratic Party presidential aspirant, who is also the National Assembly Speaker, Justin Muturi, has challenged those claiming the 2017 elections was rigged to present the information to the Director of Criminal Investigations. Muturi, however, dismissed the claims, saying they were only meant to elicit political emotions.
Speaking after a meeting with aspirants on DP party ticket and Embu residents, Muturi urged those with evidence on the alleged rigging of 2017 elections to record a statement with the police. He at the same time said Democratic Party will only form coalition with individuals who have like-minded ideologies of fighting corruption.
Yoyote ambaye ako tayari kuzungumza nasi ambaye atakubali kuyatia haya mambo yote kipao mbele, tutazungumza. Unajua mazungumzo ni si kitu baya. Unajua sisi zote ni wa Kenya na tunataka kila mmoja ambaye tutazungumza naye awe ni mtu wa nia njema.
Elsewhere, Pamoja African Alliance Party, which is associated with Governor Amason Kingi, is slowly gaining popularity following the officials' effort to strengthen their base in Coast Region. According to Governor Kingi, the party has received overwhelming requests for elective positions ranging from MCAs to governors. And Kajiado County Orange Democratic Movement aspirants have agreed with their Jubilee counterparts on how to share elective posts in forthcoming polls to avert fallout in Azimio coalition. Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelengu urged both aspirants from all Azimio coalition member parties to forge unity of purpose that will propel Raila Odinga to presidency and see them bag most of the elective seats in the county.
Hii spirit ya Azimio tunaipokea. Na baba tutamshika mkono. Na kaunti yetu tutaweka amani na maendeleo. Mimi nataka tu kuwaomba watu wa Kajiado kwamba tumekuwa mfano bora kwa taifa kama kaunti ya amani na uwiano. Na sasa kama atakayeongoza safari ya Azimio Kajiado, mimi kama gavana wa Kajiado hii, mimi nawaomba pia wana Jubilee na wa vyama vingine wote tukuje kwa pamoja ndio tuhakikishe kwamba Azimio imeshinda kwa kila kiti.
Tutaroe. In Embu, Jubilee party leaders are confident of winning majority of seats in the county. Party grassroots leaders led by coordinator Emilio Katuri said Jubilee was still the party to rely on in the region, especially now that it had received a fresh energy following its relaunch last month during its National Delegates Conference.
We are not threats. We have all what it takes. Very soon mtaona Mambiru board, very soon mtaona caravan tukizunguka kwa county na tutakuwa tukiambia watu wale walianza kitambo watakuwa kituangalia.
And finally, Kisii Deputy Governor Joash Mangi has switched his bid from gubernatorial to senatorial seat in the coming August polls. Mangi, who has been defecting from ODM to UDA for a number of rounds, made his final move to UDA last week to seek for the Kisii senatorial seat.
This is a team that is destined to win and will be running on the ticket of UDA.
Jelis Aladi for Lunchtime News.
In Mombasa County, Commissioner Lucas Mwanza has urged area residents to make good use of the Liwatoni footbridge that links the island to the mainland. Mwanza says use of the bridge will decongest ferries. His sentiments coming days after a stampede at the bridge where several people were injured.
A week after a stampede at the Mwanza Bridge where several people were injured, a security team and officials of the Kenya National Highways Authority toured the site. Mombasa County Commissioner Lucas Mwanza saying the 1.9 billion shillings bridge was meant to ease congestion at the Likoni ferry, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And therefore we want to encourage more people to use it so that we are able to attain a target of about 300,000 per day, so that we can decongest the ferries, and at the same time we can also contain the spread of the coronavirus.
It has enabled people not to sit here waiting for long hours, waiting for the ferry to come so that it can enable them to cross over. So once you arrive at the floating bridge, as long as the floating bridge is open for usage, you just walk across and get home, or you walk across and get to work.
Mwanza urging more area residents and visitors to the county to use the footbridge. The government is set to enhance security at the bridge that can serve over 200,000 people daily.
We have adequate officers, and we will continue to do surveillance, and we will continue to do patrols within this area so that the citizens who are using the bridge are safe.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
On the international scene, the death toll from the cyclone in Mozambique has jumped to 48, with the only access road to the worst hit area damaged. Cyclone Gombi has affected tens of thousands of people since making a landfall last week. At least 3,000 homes have been destroyed, according to reports.
Morrisville area in the northern province of Nampula is the most affected area, with 31 reported deaths, and is isolated after roads and phone services were damaged, according to authority. The country's relief agency said it will assist the affected in the country, and the US has increased the number of Somali officials under visa restrictions for undermining the country's democratic process. This comes after Somalia missed the 15th of March deadline for completing parliamentary elections that had been delayed for more than 1 year. The names of the officials have not been released. Elsewhere, a report by the Human Rights Watch says that dozens have been harassed, threatened or prosecuted for holding critical opinions about Rwanda's government. The report also demanded the urgent release of activists, journalists and opposition leaders in Rwanda, adding that the censoring speech and restricting journalists, bloggers and YouTube commentators has gone too far. Finally, Burkina Faso's born architect Diabedo Francis Kere has become the first African to win the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. His highly esteemed work, which include permanent and temporary structures, has been erected in his country of birth, also across Africa, Europe and the United States.
Let's now take a look at what is big in the world of sports. Spanish side Barcelona will be hoping to secure a win which will see them advance to the Europa League quarterfinals when they travel to take on Galatasaray in the round of 16 second leg match tonight. Meanwhile, Chelsea advanced to the quarterfinals of the Champions League with a 2-1 victory over Lille last night.
12 tonight. This means that they're checking for a potential handball. Hasn't needed to see it too many times, and I think we know what's coming next. It's a Lille penalty.
The UEFA Champions League and Europa League draw will take place tomorrow.
And Liverpool reignited the English Premier League title race after beating Arsenal 2-0 at Emirates Stadium to close the gap between them and Premier League champions Manchester City to 1 point. Meanwhile, Harry Kane's 7th goal in 6 games sealed victory for Tottenham as they continued their fight for the top four positions after a 2-0 win over Brighton.
Diogo Jota scored the opener goal in the 54th minute after both teams missed several chances in the first half.
Diogo Jota from the tightest of angle.
In the 62nd minute, Roberto Firmino sealed the victory for Liverpool.
Andrew Robertson and Firmino! Liverpool just have that ability to turn it.
The win leaves Liverpool breathing right down Manchester City's neck with 9 games remaining.
And just before we close, we'll take one more business story. Smallholder coffee farmers in Kericho County have been granted complete sale rights of their coffee exports under the new regulatory framework. This will see the farmers benefit from the direct return of profits as they seek new business opportunities in the East Asian markets. Details of this and more in our corporate briefs.
During the first 6 months of this year, Coop Bank increased its net loans and advances from 272.2 billion shillings to 301.2 billion shillings. This helped push up net interest income by 18% to 18.8 billion shillings, while total non-interest income grew by 24% to 10.3 billion shillings. However, the increased lending came at a cost as the lender's total operating expenses grew 28% to 18.7 billion shillings on account of 123 prudential growth in loan loss provisions. Coop Bank Group CEO Gideon Muriuki said loan loss provisions was increased 4.2 billion shillings in appreciation of the challenges that businesses and households continue to face due to the economic effects of the ongoing pandemic. The increased operating expenses ate into the lender's profitability that grew by 10% from 9.6 billion shillings to 10.5 billion shillings. Muriuki says loans worth 49 billion shillings were restructured during the CBK restructure window that ended on 31st March 2021 to support customers impacted by the pandemic. He further says the bank has successfully moved 93% of all customer transactions to alternative delivery channels such as mobile banking, ATMs, internet banking, and Coop Kwajirani banking terminals. He says M-Coop Cash mobile wallet is disbursing on average 5.6 billion shillings monthly. All of the group subsidiaries posted profits save for Cooperative Bank of South Sudan that a monetary loss of 290 million shillings on account of currency devaluation of the South Sudanese pound.
And we are going to wind it up on that note. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to watch our 4-part Border story series that is beginning tonight here on KBC. I am Nissy Imano. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter for this bulletin. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Hello, thank you for calling 1196 helpline. My name is Lucy. How can I assist? Unasema kwamba unamuumia. Hello, thank you for calling 1196 helpline. My name is Lucy. How can I assist?
Hii dunia hatukafanya nini, hata ukawa mwema kiasi gani, watu hawatoacha kukulaumu, na hata ukawa mbaya gani, watu hawatoacha kukusifu. Yani kuna watu watajigawa, kuna watu watakupenda na kuna watu hawatokupenda. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala anatuambia sisi wote ni wenye njaa, isipokuwa aliolishwa na Mwenyezi Mungu. Na Mwenyezi anasema nilisheni, maana yake lisheni maskini na wajane na